Battle of Hastings? Wrong. The battle that changed Britain forever took place a good 6 miles northwest of Hastings. The town where it all happened is called Battle. Battle these days is a much visited tourist spot. The buildings on its high street reflect many periods. Since the day in October 1066, when some 14,000 soldiers engaged in bloody combat. I'm Alan Judd. I'd like you to come with me to the Gatehouse, where we'll meet Natasha Williams, who looks after the battlefield for English heritage.
Natasha is going to tell us why the ancient town of Battle is here and why we have the abbey.
So it all starts in 1066 when Edward the Confessor, who was King of England at the time, died in January, and he died without leaving an heir. So that started a whole series of events and the fight for the King of England, basically, which culminated in 1066 in October. He had built up his battle prowess by taking over various lands as he went, and he had his sights set in England. He had a good claim to the throne. He did have blood relations with past kings of England. He also had a promise from both Edward and Harold in the past that they would support his claim to the throne. So he was a strong contender.
Right, so what had happened to bring them to this spot here? How did it come about?
So 2 weeks before 14th October, William came across and landed at Pevensey, which is very close to here, and spent the next 2 weeks pillaging and taking all the towns around the Sussex coast. Because Harold was very fond of Sussex, he had an emotional tie to it, so William knew that that's where it would hit. Here. So everything you see around us didn't exist. It was all just scrubland at the time and a bit of marsh as well. We are standing on what we call Senlac Hill now. At the time it was just a hill. The name postdates 1066, right. But it was almost a coincidence that they met here. William was down in Hastings, Harold was coming down from London, but he knew that William was making his way to London, and this is on the path that William would have taken. So Harold's aim was to surprise him, and he took the ridge here, he set up his shield wall, and he had the advantage.
The shield wall was the traditional Saxon way of fighting a battle.
Yes,
they all stood together with their shields locked together.
All stood side by side with their shields. It would have been about half a mile of just a wall of shields.
That's a lot of
exactly.
soldiers, isn't it?
And William coming up a hill to penetrate that,
yes.
It was almost impossible.
So what happened on that morning of October 14th?
So on the morning, the two armies came together, Harold at the top of the hill, William at the bottom. They had their usual standoff. It was traditional at the time, you didn't want to make the first move, you wanted the other army to make the first move to see what they were going to do. One of William's men, Taillefer, actually ran or rode between the two armies, singing the Song of Roland, which was a traditional war song at the time. And one of the Saxons got excited and shot him with an arrow. And that started it all off. Between the Normans and the Saxons was that William used the cavalry, whereas Harold didn't.
And Harold was killed.
Harold was killed,
Very near
surrounded
where
by
we are,
his core team, just over the hedge over there.
wake of the battle. Now the battle, there was nothing here, there was no town, there must have been the dead, the dying, the wounded lying all around and so on. What happened? Did William immediately start building an abbey or what?
So William, he had a lot to do. He went off to London, he had to cement his position, but a promise that he had made to the Pope in order to get the Pope's blessing to come to battle was that he had to build something on the very site to give penance for all the blood that he'd shed, and so that's how the abbey came about. It was started building in 1071 and it was built on the spot of the battle.
So started building 5 years afterwards, and presumably that's why the town grew up, was it? Around the abbey?
Yeah, so the abbey was built, but obviously they needed help, they needed people around them, they couldn't sustain themselves just with the monks in the abbey. So the town grew up from there, and you can see how the town has spread out from the abbey.
Every year, the battle is reenacted exactly where it took place in 1066. But safety means the arrows look less than lethal. But the thunder of the horses is no less real. And there is a convincing clash of arms. Plenty of colourful banners too. But this is 2018 and it all has to be cleared up. So William won. A memorial stone indicates where Harold may have fallen. A township grew up around the site. Its population needed somewhere to worship. Benedictine monks were not keen on the abbey. Abbot Ralph decreed that a church should be built nearby for the use of the townspeople. In 1115, the Church of St. Mary the Virgin opened its doors. The link to the battle is commemorated in a stained glass window. This is the first in a series of programs in which we'll be taking a look at the ancient town, and especially more detail on the Church of St. Mary's.